Welcome to News Laundry Chota Hafta. For the full episode, subscribe because it is behind the paywall and only subscribers get access to uncut, complete content. News Laundry Hafta is our weekly wrap of all that made the news, all that didn't, and all that should have and all that shouldn't have. We agree, we disagree, we critique, and occasionally we beat each other up. But it's all good fun. Subscribe.
This is a News Laundry podcast and you're listening to NL Hafta.
अंग्रेज अपना लगान और न्यूज़ लॉन्ड्री अपना हफ्ता कभी नहीं छोड़ते. वेलकम टू एपिसोड 324 ऑफ हफ्ता. We're recording this on Friday the 16th of April at 11 a.m. in the morning. We are recording from our homes because of the COVID numbers going through the roof. We at News Laundry have gone back to staying at home and the earlier COVID protocols. We've had a few cases amongst our colleagues. So until that happens, we'll be recording from home. Until things improve, we'll be recording from our homes. And all of you also do take care. So on the panel today is Mehraj. Hi, Mehraj.
Hello.
Anand, he's joins us from the phone line in Patna. Hi, Anand.
Hello.
Manisha, who joins us from Bengal, where she's been reporting for around a month
she's
now.
Back.
Sorry.
You are not aware of what your own employee is doing.
No one tells me anything, na?
I'm back. I came back yesterday.
Okay, no one tells me, only when they're going. When I'm only told sign the check, पैसा मंगवाया उन्होंने. मैंने कहा ठीक है, sign कर देता हूँ. That is my role only. So welcome back, Manisha. I hope you are well and
Yes.
you braved an entire election campaign and rallies. Well done.
Without getting COVID. Too soon to say, I guess. I should wait for another week. But I managed without...
Maybe you should save this sentence for next hafta.
I think I'm made of some... जैसे वो नहीं होता थे क्या... Superman and all had some strange elements in them that prevent. Because it's crazy. My husband sitting in Delhi got COVID. I've been all over rallies. Also,
Yeah,
I'm
that's happened to
my masks.
all our colleagues
And no COVID.
and all our colleagues at News Laundry. All the ones who went to cover elections didn't get. The ones who were in Delhi got.
मुझे लगता है कि बाहर रहने से नहीं होता है ये. It's more of
Okay,
a
now
problem
please
with your-
don't behave like Trivendra Singh Rawat, your chief minister. Please
No,
say responsible
I think
things.
Being
We-
in AC spaces is more, you're more likely to get it if you're in AC spaces. If you're outside in the open, less chances. Even if it's a bit crowded, it's less chances of getting it, I feel.
Now, before we get into the discussion, and we shall start off with the discussion on COVID, the numbers for which are going through the roof, let's have the headlines by our very own Mehraj Lone.
So the top headline obviously is the COVID. India added over 2 lakh new COVID cases in the last 24 hours. So the total toll is now over 1.4 crore. In the same time, there were 1,185 deaths from COVID. So the total fatalities now are 1,74,308, and India is now just behind United States when it comes to the second highest tally globally.
And we've set the record for the most in a day.
Yes,
right?
this is the highest ever since the pandemic began.
Right.
And because of this situation, the CBSE class 12 board exams have been postponed and class 10 exams have been cancelled. Maharashtra Chief Minister Uddhav Thackeray has urged Prime Minister Narendra Modi to declare the coronavirus pandemic a natural calamity.
And he also held a press conference where he basically stopped short of attacking the central government, but very subtly put out there that we have asked for this, and now let's see which included army supplying oxygen, declaring it a national pandemic.
Yes, Air Force. And the reason for declaring it a national calamity is also so that the state disaster response fund can be used to help people out.
Yeah. But none of that has happened yet because it's not yet a disaster of that scale.
Apparently, yeah. So Kumbh Mela will not be cut short, say officials, even as Haridwar reports 2,167 cases in 5 days.
Now that's a disaster.
So India can expect to receive stocks of Sputnik V, which is the Russian vaccine, at some point later this month and in June, as Dr. Reddy's laboratories have started importing consignments of the vaccine. So that's some good news. Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Aditya Nath tests positive for coronavirus.
And I also read the other day, so has Akhilesh Yadav.
Akhilesh Yadav and Uttar Pradesh Minister Ashutosh Tandon also. And Aditya Nath has been admitted in a regular medical hospital, not in a Ayurveda stuff and stuff.
That's not an Ayurveda. That's not Ayush. No. Okay. So, but what I heard about Akhilesh was that he went and met someone who he was told was COVID positive. some seer or something, but I think it was a political position. He went and met him anyway.
Okay, so the Kumbh Mela can't be compared to the Nizamuddin Markaz outbreak, says Uttarakhand Chief Minister. And the logic, I don't know, it's very weird somehow.
Well, one of the bits of logic is that that the Markaz attendees were inside a building, and here it's in the open, and that the Markaz people didn't have the blessings of Ma Ganga.
Yeah.
So that is the important.
And how does he know they didn't?
I don't know. Ma Ganga must have sent him a WhatsApp text, which was intercepted by Navika.
Nizamuddin Markaz can't be open due to ban on religious gatherings. Center tells Delhi High Court. High Court orders up to 50 devotees to offer namaz 5 times a day.
Right. So that contrast cannot be more stark or obvious.
Scania, which is a Swedish truck and bus maker, its internal audit has confirmed that Nitin Gadkari, the Indian Minister for Transport, received a luxury bus from the Swedish firm for personal use. And this is a report which has been done by Sweden's SVT, Germany's ZDF, and India's Confluence Media, and we have published it as well. So you can go to our...
Yes, it is only on News Laundry, Caravan and The Wire. You can read the detailed report on our website, newslaundry.com. Do check it out. It has not been taken up by any legacy media, unsurprisingly. It is because we don't depend on government ads and we depend on you. So which is why I say pay to keep news trees, so we can continue to publish reports that no one else will have the courage or the gumption to publish.
And from what we can tell, at least a couple of them did have access to the reports. They still didn't publish it or even report about it. So,
yeah. And even now they haven't picked it up. I mean, आजकल तो one tweet पर prime time 2 घंटे बन जाते हैं. इतनी damning report पर कोई prime time debate नहीं.
Anyway. Then responding to Amit Shah's comments that the poor people of Bangladesh come to India as they don't have enough to eat in their own country, Bangladesh's foreign minister, A.K. Abdul Momin, said that the minister's knowledge of Bangladesh is limited. Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, dies at 99 years of age.
And yes, and in fact, I heard the BBC podcast. The BBC was criticized and they read this out on their podcast by a very large chunk of their viewers in Britain that when he died, it should have been wall-to-wall coverage. They reported it as a story and they went back to normal reportage on COVID and, you know, what's happening in America with that black man shot again in Minneapolis. Or is it Minnesota?
Wasn't it the other way around? Because the story I read, I don't know about the BBC radio, but BBC TV and ITV also, they got a lot of complaints that they gave wall-to-wall coverage to this.
I think on the audio they got criticism for the other.
Apparently, even their viewership fell drastically because people just switched off their TV sets. India overtakes Brazil as world's second worst hit country by COVID, which we have already said. British Prime Minister Boris Johnson curtails his India trip this month due to COVID crisis. Reuters reported Johnson is slated to visit India in the last week of April. We'll see how that goes. So there's this bit of rather bizarre news. Of the 6,740 prisoners in Tihar jail who were released on parole last year in the wake of COVID, 3,468 of them have gone missing. Wow. And jail authorities have now approached the Delhi police to help trace them.
And other news, over 360 Delhi police personnel have been found to be COVID positive.
Yes. Japan is to release the contaminated Fukushima plant water into Pacific. Fukushima was the nuclear plant which was battered by the tsunami in 2011, and the nuclear reactor was damaged, and all that contaminated water now they're going to release in the Pacific, and it's obviously triggered a lot of criticism by activists and concerned public that it will damage a lot of.
So if your next tuna roll is glowing, I wouldn't eat it. But on that note, let's get into the discussion. Thanks, Mehraj.
Thank you, Abhinandan, for asking me this very pertinent question. I think to answer this, we must first understand briefly about the epidemiology of any infectious disease. So an infectious disease like this virus. So virus is actually hungry of the people who are not immunized. Right. And there could be in that the whole population is susceptible when we talk about a new virus. So especially those who are vulnerable, who are, elderly, who are having poor mobility, they are at higher risk of getting the serious disease or mortality or morbidity. But at the same time, those who are young and children, they are also susceptible. They do not have any antibodies for this new virus. Only thing is that because they have a better immune response, or because they had, like especially for children, they do not have those receptors where the virus binds to those receptors. So they have a lesser chance of getting the disease, or if they get the disease, lesser chance of mortality or getting the severe disease. But so what I would like to say that the whole population is susceptible whenever a new virus is there. So ideally, yes, the population should be vaccinated, especially those more than 18 years of age should be vaccinated, because we have evidence for that. But since they have, especially the young adult, they have lower risk of mortality and getting the severe disease, we need to prioritize in the context of the availability of the vaccines which we have. The research which we have done in last 1 year, and the pharmaceutical companies who are manufacturing these vaccines, they have very limited time period to develop these vaccines. So definitely we have a very limited supply. So now, although we are in a better position, we have Serum Institute and Bharat Biotech. Now we have Reddy Laboratories. They are producing vaccines in large quantity. So definitely, when we have limited supply, we need to prioritize. But as soon as the supply is available, we should keep it, make it open for all. This is what I also feel. So as it depends upon the supply, rather I would say the vaccines which have passed phase 3 trials and which have shown their efficacy, they should come in the market. Government should procure those, and government should make those available to all.
Right. Mehraj and Anand, if you have any views, feel free to jump in at any time, okay? So, Dr. Gupta, then the large number of vaccines that we exported, earlier, and also I was reading an article, I think Canada has hoarded like 1:4 for the population, the vaccine. I mean, my data may not be absolutely accurate. I must point this out to our listeners because I don't want to put out incorrect information, but they have definitely hoarded more than their population needs. And apparently so is the USA. In such an environment where, the most developed countries with an infrastructure, health infrastructure way beyond ours, मतलब वो भी होल्ड कर रहे हैं, हमें एक्सपोर्ट करनी चाहिए इस वक्त?
That's a very tricky question to answer, actually. So what actually at that time when we were exporting it, I actually felt very proud, because India is the one where now the image of India was changing, where India was producing its own vaccine, which we were exporting. So I mean, that moment was actually, I really felt proud that we were helping countries. We could produce that much. And at that time, probably we did not have so many cases coming up. So helping in that, considering that context, I think that was also right. But now retrospectively, I also think that maybe we should have kept those doses to us. So yeah, because we need it. We need it definitely. And I would like to mention another thing why I'm saying we need it, that we need to vaccinate, or by way of natural immunity, we need to have immunized people to the tune of 75%. So if we have 100 crore, more than 100 crore population, we need 75 crore immunized people.
That means you need that means you need 150, 160 crore doses. मतलब 2 लगती है ना?
Yeah, आप देख लीजिए, yeah. So, और अगर single dose Johnson and Johnson की आई है, so that is also pretty good. So I think we should open the market for all the vaccines available, which our country can afford, and which is feasible in terms of storing it and giving it through our health system. That is also like Pfizer and Moderna are very expensive, and we need -20 and -80 type of freezers. Probably is not feasible in our settings, but definitely if the private players, they want to keep it, we should also allow that, and they can keep it. And because it needs special freezers to store the vaccine, so -80, -20, but we should also should be open for that option as well, where it is feasible. So I would say that we should open now, like we should, whatever the vaccines available, we should be able to provide.
Now, as a health expert, and I know it's difficult to answer these questions in such a highly polarized political climate, कि मतलब जो भी बोलो, it tends to be party specific or politics specific. But generally, 1 year ago at this time, I had thought कि 2021 में सब ऑफिस आएंगे, हम एक ऑफ साइट करेंगे, हम अपने इवेंट्स चालू करेंगे. But we are worse off today than we were 1 year ago. And at that time, there was a kind of suggestion that we will increase our infrastructure, health infrastructure, beds lagayenge, oxygen supply hogi. After 1 year to fall short, where people are lying in corridors, they're lying on the road without oxygen. One person, I saw that very heartbreaking footage. Ward boy removed his oxygen to give to someone else, and that guy died. Do you think, as a medical professional, public health professional, we have utterly failed in how we handle this, especially since we had a 1 year head start, because the first time we had controlled it fairly reasonably, and we gave up and became complacent?
So I would not say that we have failed completely. What I would say that initially probably the infection rate was not that high. So at that time we also had lockdown. There was a lot of fear among the population. They were cautious. So we also had lockdown. So I mean, the chances of transmission within the community was slower as compared to this year. So, and also at the same time, like during November, December, when the incidence was dropping, people actually thought that it is gone. So we started as usual, without masks, although there were cases coming up. See, the incidence, like in our hospital also, from 200 occupancy, it came down to 25, but there were cases. So all the pubs, restaurants at night were jam-packed and everything came back to normal. So, but the virus was still there in the community. And with the variants available, and there are UK variant here, which is also, they say that, as per the evidence, it is highly infectious. So, and we were roaming about. So I'm not saying it's only the health system, the community also became complacent, and they were just not wearing masks at all. They thought it has gone completely. So I think because of that, the virus gets a chance to spread in the community, and the susceptibles in the villages also now are affecting. So as I've already mentioned that either by natural immunity or by vaccination, virus will spread to many. Okay? So it depends whether you want to have immunity by natural infection or immunity by vaccine. So we need immunized people up to the tune of 75 to 80% to contain the spread of the virus.
Okay.
Another point which you made regarding the health system. So health system did prepare itself. I think it did prepare itself probably, but I didn't expect that we will see so many cases in a day like this. And we thought it will be a little slower, but it is quite fast, quite rapid. So that is probably the reason that we are facing this problem of shortage of beds and all, which we did not speculate that we will have so many cases.
Right. Just want to say that Canada has enough COVID-19 vaccine doses to cover each citizen 5 times over. So I was actually underestimating. It's not 1:4, it's 1:5 is the kind of hoarding happening there. This question I have regarding how long your immunity lasts once you've had it. From a medical point of view, I read a few articles. It said at least 6 to 8 months. But it was the same source which was being published in many. But of course, they're not guaranteeing it. There are very few cases, but they're saying 6 to 8 months it's last. I got COVID in November. I got an antibody test done 2-3 weeks ago. I didn't have antibodies. Although I've got vaccinated now. So is there any conclusive evidence that for how long the immunity lasts once you've had it? And B, once you've had it and then you get vaccinated, does your immunity only kick in till your second dose, or after a certain period your first dose also provides you with some protection?
I think you are asking excellent questions and very right. So I'll go one by one. So after natural infection, COVID-19 natural infection, they say the evidence says the immune response is weak. It's not that good an immune response. So you may or you may not develop antibodies. So we have seen many cases who again they develop COVID-19 infection. They have COVID-19 infection. There is recurrence even after getting the disease within a gap of 1 or 2 months. So the immune response by the natural infection is weak. So it depends how your body reacts to it. And to the max, it will last up to 6 months. And it wanes, the antibodies wanes off, and it will not develop in all the cases.
Sorry, just
Now
on that only
vaccines.
one more question. So are you saying ki bina antibodies ke, then you are back to like you were, you're a COVID virgin, you're a COVID virgin again?
Yes,
I see.
Yes, this is also
so there is no
people say
memory of your cells that, you know, like the muscle memory jaise kehte hain,
Right,
someone who works out regularly,
yes,
even if that person stops working out, when he or she starts working out again, so is there any
weak.
such it's weak, okay.
So the memory, the immune response is B cell dependent. Okay? That's considered a good immune response, B cell dependent, where you will have some memory cells as well, but it is weak. It is not as good. So, but the vaccines which they are producing, they are trying to develop a vaccine which have a better immune response, better than the natural infection as well. So what the evidence says that immunity after the vaccine is going to last more and is definitely going to be there for 6 months, right? So this is the evidence which says, so we have currently the evidences which says that up to 8 months to 1 year, we will have antibodies after taking the vaccine. Now I'm talking about the vaccine. So now this is regarding the immune response after the vaccine. Now the another question which you asked, suppose there's a natural infection and then you get the vaccine first dose, right? You have developed the natural infection and now you have got the first dose of the vaccine. What will be the level of the antibodies? Okay. So antibodies level, although there are no such studies which we have currently on that, but that type of evidence will be available. But the antibodies level after in this case will be slightly better, but it will not be as good as after getting the second dose of the vaccine, right? So, and another thing which I would like to mention here, after some people say that I got the vaccine, मेरे तो antibodies बने ही नहीं, ठीक है, मैंने तो दोनों doses लगवा ली, मेरे antibodies नहीं बने, because it's not that they are not developed the antibodies, it's because the test could not detect the antibodies which they are producing.
So it's not a foolproof test. Antibody test bhi abhi initial stages mein.
Exactly. So even after natural infection, you might have developed some. So you cannot, the tests are not so reliable for detecting the antibodies. In the vaccine trials, because trials are done in a very rigorous manner, in the vaccine trials, they actually conduct a very specific, rigorous, qualitative assays to detect the neutralizing antibodies. So that test is not available in India. So we are also sending the samples to a lab outside India where we are getting this test done.
So this test, which is not available in India, what exactly does it do? It tests for?
The neutralizing antibodies against S protein of coronavirus. S protein is spike protein, which is virulent actually, because through this protein, the virus actually it gets connected with the lung cells. So basically the target of the vaccine is to develop antibodies against this S protein.
So अभी जो antibody test हो रहा है, what does that tell you?
So जो कोरोना वायरस है वो बहुत तरह के antibodies produce करता है, ठीक है? So वो specific भी हो सकते हैं, general भी हो सकते हैं, लेकिन what we are interested in neutralizing antibodies, which is very specific to coronavirus. Yeah. Okay. So your test may not give you a right result. So that is why I'm not I don't give much emphasis to the antigen antibody test. Yeah, sometimes it gives, sometimes it doesn't.
Before we move any further, we have a new Hindi website only for our Hindi audiences. Finally, it's up. Thank you so much for waiting. You can check it out at hindi.newslaundry.com. Going forward, we'd like to have websites in many other languages with bureaus and reporters across the country. And we can only continue to do all this if you continue to support News Laundry, because we have survived because we have a wonderful bunch of paying news consumers who pay to keep news free, jinke kharch pe azad hai khabrein. So please go on to newslaundry.com, click on the subscribe button and pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. Thank you so much. Do check out our Hindi website.
So like I said, regaling we can do on a podcast where we can tell you a lot about our impressions from Bengal and stuff like that. And for me, it's the first time that I've covered Bengal. So I had a lot of misconceptions that were cleared when I was on the ground. But I think one important story that News Laundry managed to do there, which a lot of people from the regional media have called me and congratulated me on it. And a lot of people from mainstream media also didn't pick it up, even though I think it was one of the biggest stories of the last phase, was the firing in Sitalkuchi Assembly constituency, Jor Patki village, where 4 men died. And that, I think, was the worst in terms of poll violence that happened. There haven't been many deaths. There was this death, and there was a young person again who was shot in the same constituency. But this was different. These two incidents are completely separate. So we went to the spot to find out what had happened. Now, there are 3 versions to this story, and which is why I think, like, it's also humbling to report on such stuff, because we think of ourselves as people who put the truth out. But sometimes there's just no way of putting the truth out. All you can do is put out versions. And especially in Bengal, the hold of parties on people is so strong that I thought it was very hard to trust anyone on the ground. And this is through the time that we've covered, because we would often hear complaints ki CRPF ne ye kar diya, BSF ne ye kar diya. We would go on the ground and we'd find completely different pictures. So TMC guys would, say that they're not letting us vote. And then you'd go and talk to villagers, and some people say, yes, they're not letting us vote, but you have to scratch and figure out, okay, ye bhi TMC ka worker hai, so he's saying this. Then you meet someone else, it's completely different. And finally you reach the booth and you talk to the BSF and CRPF and you talk to other residents around, you find out, okay, that was just rumor mongering. So a lot of rumor mongering is happening. A lot of people, most people are affiliated with some party or the other. So it's very hard to figure out who's telling the truth, which is very unlike many states. I mean, UP, Bihar also, which is looked as the worst case examples. There may be violence, or there may be like political rivalries and all, but everyone is not so entrenched in it. I found that in Bengal, this hold of party on people is very strong, which is a legacy of the left, I guess, that party state thing. So anyway, we went to the spot. We went there 2 days after the firing had happened. And the official version is already out. The CISF has said that one boy fainted in the morning. The villagers assumed that we had beaten him or killed him. And there was a rumor that spread, and they attacked us at the booth. Some 200 to 500 people came, attacked us. They tried to snatch our weapons, and we fired in self-defense. Now, this had been doing the rounds for about 2 days when we went to the village. What the villagers told us was completely different, and their version had not been aired anywhere on media. I mean, in fact, they told us कि हमने इतने लोगों से बात करा, कोई हमारा version आगे नहीं डाल रहा है, and they were very angry with the media also. So what the villagers are saying, that there were 2 separate incidents. One, this involved this little boy who was, who they say was beaten up. We met the boy in the hospital also. The boy said he was roughed up. He wasn't beaten black and blue, but one of the CRPF guys picked him up, hit him on his bum, hit him on his chest. He fell down and he fainted. And the CISF guys took him to the hospital. So this is what happened. And we spoke to the boy, and that's what the villagers say. There's consistency on this narrative from all the villagers. And they say that ये इसको हॉस्पिटल ले गए थे. CISF fired shots in the air and crowd dispersed, and things were beginning to calm down, and we were lined up at the polling station when 2 vehicles came with central forces in it. They can't distinguish between uniforms, they just know central forces versus police, so they call it Kendra Vahini. The Kendra Vahini ke log aaye, they got off, they came into the booth. One boy started shooting them in his on his mobile phone. And they hit him, and his brother came and sort of got aggressive with them, and they shot the brother in the chest, and they shot at the voter line.
Are you serious? And this you got from the villagers there?
Yeah, and consistently everyone told us this. Now, one of the things that we realized with reporting on these issues before is there is no consistency in narrative. Like one villager will say something, the other one will say something. Narratives keep changing. Here, the one thing that was striking was everyone stuck to the same story. Unless they came together in a sabha and got tutored at night and then decided ki ye hamara version hai. I don't see how everyone, from people in the hospital to literally everyone in the village.
The people who were in the line, you spoke with people who were standing around.
We spoke to eyewitnesses who were in the line, women and men, who said the same thing, ki piche se aaya aur shoot karke chala gaya. Now, the third version is a video that's come out. It's from the booth number 126, but we can't authenticate it really because we don't know who's released it, but it seems like the TMC's released it because the TMC favoring channels have been running it. Now, in that, you can see boys and men and women with sticks standing outside the booth. Thoda halla walla kar rahe hain. There's police also standing there. The police is also battening them and telling them ki jao yahan se, mat karo. There's no attack happening at this point. But men and women with sticks are visible around the booth. So they're visibly agitated about something. And in Bengal, kuch bhi ho jata hai, log lathi leke aa jate hain bahar. I've noticed this in so many. They may not do anything, lekin lathi leke fir chillane lag jayenge. Hey, kya kar rahe ho types. So anyway, lathi leke log khade hain. And then QRT vehicles come, sure enough. We can't figure out who it is because it's a bit from the distance. And suddenly you see the police, pe jahan pe angle hai, you see the police guy staring at the QRT guy. And the QRT guys rush into the polling station. Then the camera shifts to the wall. So you can't really see what's happening. And you hear gunshots. And you hear them leaving back. You see them then retreating back to the vehicle and going. At this point, there is no mob of 300 people. There is a group of people for sure. There are a bunch of people, I'd say maybe...
Couple dozen.
Yeah. I mean, voting line में भी लोग खड़े हैं, ऐसा लग रहा है, but you can't really clearly see because वो camera moves to the wall. So, I mean, there is definitely something that they were agitated about. That is for sure, because there are women and men with sticks. So maybe the earlier incident with the boy being roughed up had gotten them angry. And that's what a lot of shopkeepers also said. The women surrounded the forces saying कि तुम बच्चे को क्यों मारो? हमको मारो तो वोट भी नहीं करता उसको क्यों मार रहे हो? But shots fired air में हुए थे and dispersed. But clearly some people followed this forces to the place with the sticks. And then you see them entering. There's no mob of 2,000 to 300. There are agitated men and women standing around in chota groups. And shooting happens, they go, and then all hell breaks loose. They start screaming, they start shouting. There are dead bodies that you can see that are being gotten out of the booth. You see men raid the booth. You see them starting, banging at the door and, creating a huge ruckus. And I believe the polling officers had shut themselves inside at that point because they were very scared with what's happening. So those are the three things that happen now. Because this is a sensitive booth, there should be a CCTV footage that the CISF should give us. I spoke to the CISF chief. He said that we will release it, but video camera is pointed at the EVM because they are concerned with the EVM being zapt and all that, whatever, somebody stealing the EVM away. So he says, he suggested that maybe it will not give us the complete picture, but 2-3 things to note is that every villager had the same story to tell of unprovoked firing. The fact that things were completely peaceful, that they are not being completely truthful about because there are men and women with sticks and there seems to have been an agitation. But the CIFS is also not being truthful about the number of crowd and the immediate threat. The third thing that's interesting about this place is that this is a majority Muslim place. And this is now what's really happening in Bengal, which is so alarming. You've had traditionally voter suppression tactics of both parties. So TMC will not let you vote if they think you're voting for CPIM, if they're in majority in a village. So they'll come to your house, they'll threaten you, तुम्हारा गेट बंद कर देंगे और धमकी दे देंगे कि बाहर मत निकलना और तुम्हारा वोट हम देंगे, तुम नहीं निकलोगे. So this happens a lot. I was a bit surprised by this also. Again, like in Delhi, we have this image of Bengali as this genteel intellectual, but it's really not. I mean, the average state of affairs there is quite bad when it comes to political suppression, political violence, and stuff like that. So here in this village, it's majority Muslims. Now Muslims are super scared of BJP coming to power. They think कि उनका मतलब खत्म हो जाएगा जीना यहाँ पे, and they are mostly supporting TMC in these constituencies that we visit. So they actively disallowed Hindus from voting. They are minority Hindu voters who are scheduled caste. They're Rajvanshis mostly. So we met a bunch of Hindu families who said we didn't go because we were turned away from the booth. And we are not allowed to vote here because Muslims feel if we vote, BJP will come to power. So earlier allegations that were traded between two parties are now being traded between two religions. Because voter preferences are split completely down the line between Hindu Muslims in these areas especially. So the other side to the story was also that there was voter suppression happening. There have been booths where Hindus were not allowed to vote. And there was also the incident of Anand Burman, another guy who was about 15 to 20 kilometers away from this village, who was shot dead at the voter line. 2 bike-borne men did it. The BJP is saying he's their supporter, but there's no clarity really on that. But he was shot dead and 2 people have been arrested. So very murky situation. So, and I feel like one of the reasons why things really escalated, maybe we need to figure out why they shot, because there isn't really an apparent, you can't see a mob attacking them, at least from the footage, but you need a clearer footage also. So what led to the escalation that bullet injuries are all in the chest again?
Yeah, shoot to kill. I read about that.
So we need to know exactly what is the imminent threat there. But I think 2 things that have happened and have really created a really tense situation is Mamata Banerjee's rabble rousing. She has been going to rallies and saying that CRPF maar raha hai, loot. Matlab before this incident also, कि CRPF, अमित शाह का पुलिस आएगा, तुम्हारा वोट छीनेगा, तुम उसको घेर लेना, तुम जैसे लुच्ची को फुलाते हैं वैसे उनको फुला देना, telling the mothers and all. And really
for those of you wondering what a lucchi is what Bengalis call a puri.
Yeah. come out with your balance and do to them what you do with luchis kind of a thing. So she's really done a lot of rabble rousing among minority voters, and minority voters are convinced, Muslims, that BJP is out to steal our votes, which isn't true. Like, we did go to a lot of places where BSF and CRPF were really trying to, like in Nandigram, BSF, there was a commotion and there was voter suppression happening where TMC was accusing BJP of not letting them vote. So BSF personally went to their houses and said, you come with us, vote, we are with you. But the families said, you will go away, we'll have to stay in the village, so we don't want to come out. So, in their defense, there have been areas where both BSF and CRPF have really worked with the people there. There's a big language problem. They can't understand Bengali, and often the poll officer and police officers also don't understand Bengali and Hindi. So huge language issues in communicating. So उसी में बहुत सारी लड़ाइयाँ हो जाती हैं कि they'll ask a person to do something, the Bengali guy won't understand, and then they'll get aggressive. The Bengali guy will also get aggressive. So those issues are happening. So for to make the claim also that CISF just came and shot, just like that at a voter line is also a bit alarming. But, things can happen when there is so much suspicion between two people. And there's so much suspicion among the voters, and there's so much, tensions and even for the CISF, because this area, you already had a shooting in the morning. You had some mob incidences. So they're also, and they don't understand the language. So for them also, I think they feel before it escalates, let's just shoot. That's, of course, you can't do that. There's a protocol.
Yeah, I think there is a serious problem with just the training, and we've discussed this so many times on Hafta. I'm sure the regular listeners will be bored, so we won't get into it. But our police force and the central forces, they are under-trained, under-prepared, undernourished or overnourished. It is, we've just been over it so many times. It's like, sending a bunch of ill-prepared children to play the World Cup. Either they will hurt someone or they will hurt themselves. I don't
and
see
CISF is an industrial force, no? So usually I can understand CRPF, BSF are still known for these things, but there have been encounters and stuff like that. But CISF is an industrial force. They guard the stations and metro, and so it's not known to be also. So anyway, I think what is really sad, one thing is the mistrust, and the other thing that I found very striking was that no one in the regional media or national media spoke to the victims, and were unwilling to, even if it's an allegation, you're unwilling to even put an allegation out. When both parties have filed a police complaint, the Muslims, the people who've lost their lives, and the CISF both have filed complaints. So why is it that for 2 days you're only relaying CISF? At least they have a right to make an allegation, even if it's a false allegation. So this thinking that a lot of the media goes with now, कि Muslim, ये बहुत जगह हमने सुना भी कि तो लोग ही ऐसे हैं, ये तो इनका काम ही है. Gandogol is a word they use for people who create this rada kind of situation. So a lot of people will just say कि ये तो notorious area है, तो area ही ऐसा है, इनका तो नहीं सुनना है. But I think, we spoke to a lot of people, and I think consistently saying something, there must be some kernel of truth somewhere to what they're saying, unless until all of them got together and decided we'll put the same lie out for a journalist who comes tomorrow. But the unwillingness for the media to even air an allegation when it is a Muslim victim is quite out there. And it's very sad.
All of you listening in, the Chota Hafta, do subscribe so you can listen to the entire Hafta. We will see you again next week with the Hafta. Till then, subscribe, pay to keep news free, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Thank you. Goodbye.
All the News Laundry podcasts are available on Stitcher, iTunes, and any other podcast platform.
Please subscribe to News Laundry. Help us keep news independent. To catch all our podcasts on news, pop culture, current affairs and sport, visit newslaundry.com. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter and Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Sun liya Afrika, Mufat Khoro. Not to brag or anything, but News Laundry Hafta features in the top 50 in the world on SoundCloud in the news and politics category for podcasts. So do subscribe and see what you're missing, because when the public pays, the public is served. When advertisers pay, advertisers are served. Subscribe, help keep news independent and free.
All News Laundry podcasts are available on iTunes and Stitcher and any other podcast platform.